Welcome to another dark journey into our past. Today, we uncover a chilling mystery. Imagine a realm that believed the sun would shatter into pieces unless fed with human blood. Thousands died in terrifying rituals. Was it pure faith or a sinister weapon of total fear? Step into the dark pyramids of Tenochtitlan. The horrifying truth of the blade awaits you. Prepare to decode the mysteries of the Aztecs. The sun god's dark secrets are finally revealed. In the 14th century, a mighty city rose above the lake. Tenochtitlan was a vibrant wonder. But beneath its stunning beauty lay a profound dread, a fear that the entire universe would end. Historical records show they worshipped a fierce god, a deity of the sun, and dreadful warfare. Huitzilopochtli was his fearsome, sacred name. He fought endless battles against the shadows. To keep the sun moving across the endless sky, the god required a constant nourishment of life. If the people failed to offer abundant blood, the sun would die and end all earthly existence. They called this era the Age of the Fifth Sun, and they believed it hung upon a shaky thread. According to ancient legends of Mesoamerica, the primal gods sacrificed themselves for man. They shed their own blood to breathe life into the world. This created a massive, unpayable debt. Humanity was bound to repay this cosmic debt. The currency they owed was simply human blood. To maintain the universe and avoid total doom, the Aztecs devised a brutal military plan. They initiated the infamous Flower Wars. These were battles designed not for conquest or land. Elite jaguar warriors marched into the dense woods. Their only goal was to capture enemies alive. Killing an opponent on the brutal battlefield was seen as a waste of precious offerings. Instead, they crippled rival soldiers with heavy clubs. They bound them with thick ropes and marched them far away. Prisoners were dragged back to the island capital. They awaited a doom much worse than battlefield death. Imagine being captured for a sacred slaughter. Would you accept your fate to save the dying sun? In the heart of the city stood the Templo Mayor, a massive twin pyramid reaching to the heavens. This was the sacred axis of the Aztec world, and it was about to witness unrivaled horrors. Spanish chronicles record a chilling festival. In the year of 1487, blood flowed. To dedicate the newly expanded mighty temple, thousands of captives lined up for days on end. At the summit stood the fanatical high priests. They wore dark robes and hair matted with ancient blood. In their hands, they held the deadly Obsidian blade, a volcanic glass incredibly sharp and cold. Obsidian was much sharper than modern steel. It could slice through human flesh with a single stroke. The victim was forced onto a convex stone block. This arched their back and fully exposed their tense chest. 4 assistant priests pinned down the wretched captive's limbs. The victim screamed in agony as the blade swung. With precision, the priest slashed below the victim's ribs. He reached his bare hand deep into the trembling body. In mere seconds, he ripped out the palpitating heart. He raised it high to the shadows of the dreadful sky. The still-beating organ was placed in a sacred bowl. It offered precious energy to starving gods. The lifeless body was pushed down the pyramid steps. It tumbled in a gruesome path of sacred violence. At the bottom, the remains were brutally dismembered. The skulls were added to the ritual skull rack. This ghastly monument was known as the Tzompantli. It displayed tens of thousands of grisly trophies. For generations, scholars thought this was just a myth, a Spanish lie to justify their own brutal war. But modern archaeologists found the massive racks buried deep beneath the streets of Mexico City. The physical evidence is indisputable now. The ritual slaughter was a grim reality. Was this endless carnage truly guided by belief, or was religion a mask for total cruel control? Examine the actions of the Aztec emperors. They often invited rival lords to these events. Guest rulers from rebellious lands were brought right here. They were forced to sit and watch the blood-curdling spectacle. As they saw their own bravest warriors slaughtered alive, a profound and shattering terror filled their minds. This was a calculated show of state authority, a brutal form of ancient psychological warfare. The message from the Huitzilopochtli was clear: defy the mighty empire, and your heart will be torn out. By using the angry gods as a perfect sacred shield, the emperor kept his tight grip on vassal provinces. It was a system designed to prevent any revolt. Fear is much cheaper than maintaining a huge army. Instead of garrisoning troops in faraway lands, they let the dread of the sacrificial knife do the work. But this dark strategy of universal mortal dread eventually planted the seeds of their downfall. The subjugated tribes harbored a deep, bitter hate. They simply awaited a chance to break their shackles. When Hernan Cortés and his Spanish soldiers finally came, they joined with tens of thousands of angry natives. Together, they marched upon the grand city of the lake. They sought revenge for generations of brutal slaughter. The economy of blood had sustained the mighty realm, but alienation drove the empire to its ruin. The glorious pyramids were toppled into the dust. The fanatic priests were put to the very same sword. Today, the ruins of the Great Temple still remain. They offer a silent warning from a bygone era. Faith can provide the masses with hope and a deep meaning, but in the wrong hands it becomes a tool of dominance. The gods of ancient lands were often mighty and stern. They demanded a heavy price for every breath of life. Yet it was human agency that wielded the sharp knife. It was mortals who chose a path of relentless blood. They built a city of gold on a mountain of pale skulls, an illusion of cosmic order built atop sheer fright. Every time the sun arose from the purple eastern dawn, a mother wept for a son lost to the cruel blade. As we uncover bones beneath the busy modern streets, we must question the complex nature of human ideals. Was it a tragedy of blind faith and ritual zeal, or a deliberate scheme to maintain absolute power? The dark truth of the Aztec age may never be fully known. It lies buried deep in the ashes of a lost realm. The shadows of the fifth sun still linger in the cold stones, echoing the screams of the captives from long ago. The priests preached of an eternal and very starving cosmos. They claimed that the ancient gods suffered just as mortals do. Tlaloc, the mighty lord of rain and the dreadful tempests, demanded the innocent tears of the city's small youth. Their weeping was a metaphor for the needed raindrops, a disturbing aspect of a highly regimented faith. And Totec, the flayed agricultural spirit, offered a vision of rebirth through incredible dark pain. His priests displayed the flayed skins of the shattered sacrifices, a macabre symbol of corn shedding its useless husk. These practices seem utterly monstrous to modern eyes, yet they formed the logical core of the ancient beliefs. To the Aztecs, life without the ancient gods, constant blessing was a guaranteed, swift downward path to eternal famine. A noble captive was often treated with great respect. He was given privileges before his inevitable end. Some even embraced their dread destiny as a sacred honor, a chance to ascend right into the sun's eternal realms. But the vast majority of the bound and dragged victims undoubtedly felt animal panic as the knife swung down. The fragrant smoke of burning copal masked the copper stench, while the throbbing drums tried hard to drown out the loud, piercing screams. We must view this history through an objective lens, ignoring the European myths of simple savagery. The Mexica constructed epic marvels of science. They invented floating gardens and complex celestial maths. A society so brutal, yet so incredibly brilliant, a paradox that baffles the brightest historical minds. It proves that intelligence does not guarantee empathy, and that civilization can flourish in shadows of blood. As the final mighty emperor fell to the foreign invaders, the sacred fires of the Templo Mayor were extinguished. The collapse of the Aztec realm was a tragic bloodbath, replacing one form of dark tyranny with a brand new one. The Spanish brought their own ritual of execution and fear. The Holy Inquisition burned its victims at the cross. In the end, whether by the sharp glass or the burning stake, mighty empires used divinity to hide a mortal evil. The blood-stained stones of Tenochtitlan are a stark reminder. The darkest horrors are often committed in God's name. As the modern sun sets over the sprawling Mexican valley, we wonder if another cosmic age is nearing its end. And what sacrifices will our own civilization demand when the shadows of fear and crisis finally consume us? The empire fell, but its dark legacy lives on. Was it an act of deep faith or pure tyranny? Tell us in the comments. Did the gods truly demand human blood, or did the rulers simply demand total fear? Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Join us next time for more thrilling and dark historical secrets.